Ho ho ho, happy holidays. Welcome to the true dog days of GTA real estate, where nothing really happens in this last 9 or so days of any given year. That's why I feel it's the perfect time to bring you a bit of a 2025 recap of what happened in this market. I'm going to frame that as we're going to take a look at TREB's 2025 outlook that was put out earlier this year, where they make two bold projections on sales activity as well as average sale prices. We're going to see how those projections stack up against the reality, at least what we can tell so far. I'm also going to walk you through what is going on with new listing activity as well as actives as we head into the end of this year and into 2026. Hey there, welcome. If you are new here, my name's Rob. I am a sales representative with Valerie Real Estate. It's Canada's first ever AI-powered real estate brokerage. I'm out here in Durham region serving the people of Durham, York, and East Toronto. West of Yonge Street does not exist, in my opinion. Anyways, if you want data-driven insights into the market, what is happening to help you make better informed decisions regarding real estate, this is the channel for you. Stick with me through this video as we dive into our 2025 recap. Here is the 2025 market outlook from the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board. They do this every single year, and they will kind of highlight what happened in the prior 2 years. They look at average prices, total sales activity, total new listing activity, interest rates, what are they doing? And it jumps all the way back to average prices. But the thing that we have the most fun with, and that is the hardest thing to do, is the projections. TREB does project each year where they feel the market is going for the following 12 months. In 2025, here's what those projections look like. First, projected home sales, 76,000 projected home sales on TREB for 2025. The question was posed to me over on X, what does the 76,000 sales entail? What geographic area? Is it any sale reported on TREB that could happen really across Canada as long as it's on the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board, or is it more GTA Toronto area specific? And my answer, based on what I can dig up, is the latter. If we look back at the 2024 numbers of 67,609, this lines up very closely to what I can put together using the MLS, looking back at 2024 sales where we were right around 69,000. So it's not the entire board or any listing that is sold on the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board. It just has to do more so with the TREB Market Watch, which is those monthly reports and the criteria they use for those Market Watch reports. I entered those TREB Market Watch criteria over onto the Habistat, and here is what it looks like. We are looking at transaction volumes, that's reported sales volume, for every year going back to the start of 2020. You can see that 2021 was our busiest year by far in history in the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board. That was 126,574 sales occurred that year. You can see down here that 70 or so thousand sales that were reported in 2024 line up roughly with what TREB's numbers were for 2024. And if we look at 2025, it falls all the way off to 62,460. As a bit of a backup, I also entered the TREB Market Watch criteria onto the MLS directly. This is all getting pretty technical, so if you have questions, feel free to put them in the comments. But the number that I got spit out to me so far through 21 days of December was about 63,000 sales reported. 2025 saw a pretty regular sales pattern, I would say. And what I mean by that is, started off slow in January with just shy of 3,900 sales reported and peaked out in around May with just shy of 6,400 sales. We then saw things kind of slow down into the summertime. August was our kind of slowest of the summer months before they picked back up. October of 2025 came in at just over 6,200 or so sales. And now we've seen those numbers really drop off. Like I said, we're about 2,500 sales reported in December so far. Looking at annual sales totals, you can see that 2025 coming in down here at 62,460, like we already said, is way off the peak that we saw back in 2021, where it was just shy of 127,000 reported sales for the year. Even going back to 2016, that was just shy of 120,000 sales. So the slowest sales activity for any given year in at least the last 10 years. And from what I'm seeing reported, it could even be the slowest that we've seen in the last 30 years. Some of these reports from TREB are a little tough to piece together as to exactly what areas they're using. So I know this is a definite apples to apples comparison that is the slowest in 10 years, and I'd venture 20 years for sure. I just have issues accessing data that far back on this platform. So no matter how you slice it, we are roughly 14,000 sales off of where TREB projected we would be at this point in time. If you lump in another 800 or so sales that'll be reported over the next few days, which I doubt it'll even be that high, we could see that number come down to maybe 13,000 shy of what they projected, but overall, a little bit of a strike one when it comes to the sales projections by the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board. The second big prediction or projection that TREB made in their market outlook was the average home price for GTA properties, and that came in at $1.147 million. Using those Market Watch criteria, I built this chart on the Habistat for average sale price across all TREB Market Watch areas. Back in 2020, our average price across all property types was $926,000 or so. That jumped up to the high back in 2022 of 1.191 million. And 2023, it fell off to 1.126, 2024 to 1.114. And this is not even a spoiler alert. You can see this line is continuing to go down. So clearly we missed our mark. But as of, roughly 3 weeks into December, that average price is sitting at $1,068,901 across all property types for those TREB Market Watch criteria. This is how things look when you break down those average prices into the months of the year. So back in January, we started off with an average sale price across the GTA of about $1,040,000. Our peak month was May, where that price reached $1,116,000, and things have fallen off now to where they're still over $1 million, but just at about $1,005,000 in December so far this year. Even in our peak month, our most expensive month, when home prices or the average price reaches the highest amount back in May, we are still about $30,000 short of where TREB thought we would be for the entire year. Making these projections is really a fool's errand. You are never going to get things right 100% of the time. I think in general, TREB saw 2025 as the year where we would start to see maybe market recovery or a return to normal. But the reality, as we've just shown with just these past two numbers, is that things slowed down more, prices came down more. There's still lots of economic uncertainty out there, and we are still, whether or not we're in the early days, but we are definitely in the middle of this market correction. Unfortunately for us, but maybe fortunately for TREB, those are the only two projections they put out in their market outlook, being sales activity and average sale prices. Let's take a look at how new listings played out through this year, as well as where active listings are at right now. New listings followed our kind of seasonal pattern that you'd expect to see in any given year. A slow start to the year, but things come to a head in May. That was our busiest new listing month of 2025, where we saw just shy of 22,500 new listings hit the market. When it came to our fall market, September was our busiest month, where it was just shy of 20,000 new listings hitting the market. I've touched on this a bunch. That new listings number includes relisted properties. So that does not mean every single property that hits the market as a new listing is new. Some of those are repeat listings. So that number is inflated because of the fact that we did see a ton of terminations and expiries throughout the year, just because of sellers not getting the price they wanted, buyers not offering the prices that sellers wanted. Active listings really gives us a better indication as to how many properties are out there and available for sale. You don't get that constant repetition of new listings being re-entered. Gives us a better indication of how much inventory is actually out there than new listings does. You can see that active listings in 2025 peaked out in June at just shy of 34,000 active listings right across the GTA. These are month-end numbers, so they take into account all the terminations and expiries at the end of the month, and then usually report on, for example, June active listings in the early days of July. So that peak number of 34,000 probably reached even a little higher than that in one of my midweek readings that you can follow along with over on X. I do that every single Monday to let you know where active listings are at. That 34,000 number is a month-end total, and the number actually probably got a little higher than that in the month of June. After that peak in June, we saw things fall into the August market, where it was just shy or just over 29,000 active listings. It bumped back up in September to just shy of 31,000 active listings before we really started to drain that inventory down to, 22,289 currently right across the GTA. But even year over year, that active number is up about 40% from where we were at the end of December 2024. Zooming out on this active listings chart, 2025 will definitely be kind of the most inventory that we end a year with. We're at about 22,000 now. I'd expect, 1,500 to 2,500 or so listings to come off at the end of the month. If we got this number to below 20,000 by the time the Market Watch comes out in early January, I would not be surprised. But definitely, much higher than we were at the end of 2021 when there was just over 3,200 active listings available at the end of December 2021. To put a nice little Christmas bow on this video, TREB over 2 in their projections, 76,000 sales was way over the mark. We're going to come in at roughly 63,000 sales. That $1,147,000 average sale price, about 80 grand higher than where we're at right now for the year as well. What they thought would be a year of recovery was a year of continued correction. I want to know what you think. Is 2026 the year where things start to recover, or do we see more correction ahead as well? I also understand that this video is very broad, looking at the entire GTA. If you have specific pockets that you're looking at, you want me to put these charts together for you to kind of give you a picture of how 2025 played out in your area specifically, leave a comment below with that area or shoot me an email. All that information is in the description of this video as well. This is going to be my last recording for 2025, so I really want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for tuning into this channel, for watching me talk about real estate numbers on a weekly basis, even given the big hiatus through the middle of this year. I'm energized to keep doing this in 2026, and it is all because of you guys that keep tuning in to these videos. So thank you so much for sticking with me through the year. I hope you have an awesome holiday season. Until we speak again next time, please stay safe and cheers.